Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and seeing as how this is being filmed on December 26th, I hope for everyone who celebrates you had a Merry Christmas, and since I hope this video will go up before New Year's, I hope you have a Happy New Year as well. Continuing our look at the Wave 1 Siege Deluxe figures, we have Hound. Hound, I feel, is a little bit overlooked as compared to, say, Sideswipe or Skytread, as, well, the transformation isn't as wonderful as it could be. I do find him to be an enjoyable figure, and I find him better to combine with Cog than, say, Sideswipe. I think his mass and the design and sculpt of some of his limbs give him a beefier look that just looks a lot better. Hound does come with 3 accessories, 2 weapons, and a third accessory point, all part of the combat system. The weapons can be attached on the various 5mm ports you see that are all over the vehicle mode. The accessory here, some people call it a spare tire. It's really more like an ammo drum that is specifically designed to go on this peg right there, and there's a little hole that will just slot it in, so there you go. Other than that, Hound is a nice update to its G1 Jeep. I think borrowing more from a Hummer design than, say, a basic Jeep. Yes, this is supposed to be a Cybertronian mode, but I don't remember seeing Hound in a Cybertronian form in the original cartoon, so I guess this is the best they could do. I don't mind. I know other people do. A lot of people are getting tired with the G1, but seeing as how, the last good Hound figure we got was, well, besides the alternators, was that Classics edition. I kind of like, the Combiners Wars one was okay. I think it was lacking in accessories, and I really didn't appreciate the fact that it was a repaint of Swindle. This is really nice, and I'll say it right now, I think this is better than the Classics figure. I think this is the best modern take on Hound that we've gotten. So we'll pause and we'll get into the transformation. Okay, I gone ahead and removed the weapons from Hound, as we always would start. Now, you might notice I am starting in vehicle mode. That's because Hound's transformation, unfortunately, is a little bit fiddly going from robot mode to vehicle mode. So vehicle mode is a little bit easier, but I can still point out the trickier spots to its transformation. And those will actually be the first couple steps we're going to start with. As I've mentioned before, I am trying something new where I will actually explain and state the steps I'm going to do before doing them. So, as I said, you want to remove the weapons. The first thing we're going to do is fold up these little green tabs here next to the interior of the Jeep. Then we want to unpeg this back black section where the weapons were pegged in. The tabs in, you want to untab that. And then finally, you're going to untab these sides of the Jeep, as well as this back section, and rotate it down. Yes, that's a lot of steps to do right off, but the reason we have to do them is everything is squished together and there's not a lot of clearance. So if we were just to, say, untab them without unfolding them, they could actually just sort of repeg themselves and get in the way. So let's get to it. Oop. And of course that section had to pop off, so I'll just slap it back on. Unfortunately, everything does peg in nice and tight, which can be seen as a positive here. And then you just want to, like I said, swing everything out. And I will say, this is the hardest part of the transformation. Going into and out of the vehicle mode. That is, a little unfortunate. But there you go, and obviously the piece just pops back on. The next step is you're going to take these side panels, fold them up. That will finish forming the legs, and then the foot piece you'll fold back in the opposite direction. So I'll just do that. There is a tab, and that will peg right in. Do it on this side as well. And just fold the foot back. I don't know if it's just mine, but I have seen it on other reviewers. The feet don't fold up flush all the way. There is that little... They are basically locked to a sort of angled stance. So you do get that A stance right there, just about. Next, what you want to do is, once the leg's done, you'll come underneath the Jeep. You'll want to unpeg the robot arms from their position and rotate them out. Very easy. Go ahead, open it up all the way because you're going to need the space to fold the chest down here. So go ahead and do that. That will sort of soft tab into place and reveal the robot head. Next, what you want to do, fold the arms back in. They will sort of tab into place on the side there. Give them a little push to hold them in. And then, of course, we'll go ahead and rotate them at the bicep so they face forward. Finally, to finish off Hound, come around to the back here. You're going to flip that black section up underneath and then fold it all down, and it will tab in to this section here on the back. I will close everything. Make sure you got everything lined up. There you go. And one last little thing that a lot of reviewers tend to forget, this little green panel actually can fold back further than it does, so it'll give you a little more space and room to manipulate the figure. And here's Hound in its robot mode. Very nice. I'm quite happy with it. It looks really cool. Not too much of a backpack. That's nice. It does have, as I've mentioned on Sideswipe and Skytread, you have the port there, ports under the feet, 2 ports on each arm, port on each leg above the knee, and then on this you have the ports here in the front. So it does have that standard combat system connection points, articulation, universal joints in the shoulders. I do want to mention that the shoulders are a little tight, so depending on how you move them, you might unpeg them from this section here. But it kind of holds. Head is on a ball joint, but it is a little limited in what it can do. Ball joints, universal joint in the hips, a little over 90-degree bend at the knees, and the feet do have that some articulation. Like I said, are kind of molded to be on an angle to begin with. Now, we'll pause here and we'll go into a bit more with the accessories. Okay, bringing the accessories back in. Here's his gun, the shoulder launcher, and I do want to pause on the shoulder launcher for a minute. I was a little disappointed with this. If you remember in the cartoon, this is what the shoulder launcher looked like, but there should be some sort of silver missile here that can that would shoot out or launch. And I think if they had included a version of that small pistol missile accessory that came with Sideswipe in silver, that would have been perfect. And of course, here we have the ammo drum. Now, that can actually attach on either side. There's like a little thin tab here that will go into the sides here of the rifle. And that's the other thing. I remember Hound having a small handgun, not like a pronounced rifle like this. There is a combined weapon form that is shown in the instructions. You just peg the rifle into the shoulder launcher and then peg the ammo drum there in the back, and Hound can hold it. And what I like is the ammo drum does give it a little extra length in the back so it doesn't look completely awkward. But the usual way that I display Hound is what I guess you can say is a traditional way, maybe, I don't know. But let's get this pegged back together, just like so. There are holes here in the shoulder, right above the chest there, where the windshield pegged in. The little launcher will fit in quite nicely, and you can put the handgun in its hand. So there you have Hound, all armored up and ready to rock and roll. Like I said, one of the things I hope you can see here from the massive Hound is just the fact that he's a little stockier than, say, Sideswipe, and that will come in and be in his favor when you combine him with Cog or some of the later weaponizers down the line. So, we'll pause, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Well, I've always found Hound to be more of a espionage, undercover type of character due to his use of holograms and illusion. Thanks to the movie, most people's modern interpretations of Hound tend to focus more on a heavily armed, aggressive commando type of soldier. And I think while we're getting a G1 look here with the weapons layout, this is the more this is the characterization we're getting with him. And I don't have a problem with that. This is a great figure. I'm not going to say it should be the first figure from Siege that you go out and buy, but definitely is worth a spot in your collection. And I think after you see the video of Cog, you'll understand what I'm saying about how his stockiness works better with weaponizers. So this is your old pal Chuck for Hound. We will see you next time.